Guys, I'm getting sued. Hey, what's up you guys? This is Sam Kwak here, one of the Kwak brothers, real estate investor. And just as you've seen in the intro, I am getting sued. Or am I? So a couple months ago, I received a letter from an attorney's office, and this office I do not recognize. I don't really recognize the name, nor do I recognize the people that are being mentioned. It's a letter demanding that I pay a large amount of money to settle a dispute, quote unquote, a lawsuit, with a lady that lived in this set address, got hurt, got injured, and this attorney that's representing the lady is now claiming that we, our company, our LLC name, is responsible for this accident because of negligence, which the amount that they're asking for a settlement is $21,100. Now, I don't know if this incident was real or it's fake or it's scam. I really don't know. But what we do know is that this is not our property. So we did some digging. We went to Google Maps. We went and checked out who the actual owners are of this set property. And turns out, of course, it's not our property. We never owned this property in our life, never had a history, never even made an offer to buy this property. I mean, we didn't even know that this property even existed. I called the attorney's office up and I said, hey, listen, my name is Sam. I represent Novo Properties LLC. And I see that you sent me a letter demanding a settlement of close to $21,000. Listen, I think you guys got the wrong company. Even if you guys are looking for Novo Properties, there's probably another Novo Properties out there. It's a case where that guy's a John Smith and that guy's a John Smith, and you don't know which John Smith to point to and just pick the random one. Well, I think that's what's happening here. And of course, they said, we'll take a look at it, we'll investigate to see what's going on. And I thought it was over. I'm like, okay, good. Now they heard me, they understood me, and they're gonna go in and find the real owner of this property after that phone call. They sent me another letter, either further digging into their position saying that, yes, this is you need to pay the settlement fee of $21,000. So I Googled and I actually did a tax assessor research on that property address that they're citing here. So I went and looked up the record of the property, the tax assessor site, and I found out the real owner of this property is in none other than Washington, D.C. You guys couldn't go and find out this on your own? Like, what's going on here? I hired my attorney back on, my legal staff, which of course cost immense amount of money to defend this fake lawsuit or this mistaken settlement dispute. And of course, he goes back to the other side's attorney, right, the injured party's attorney, and says, hey, listen, you guys got the wrong company. Here's the actual owner. Here's their tax ID. Please dismiss us from any sort of settlement demand or taking us to court. And the injured party's attorney, the other attorney that originally sent me this settlement dispute letter, came back with a big giant screenshot as well as a copy of the lease apparently this injured person had with that Novo Properties. And of course, they also sent me a picture of the Google Street View in front of the property. And they were right. There's a big giant sign in front of the building that says Novo Properties, but not Novo Properties LLC, Limited Liability Company. I don't think that the other side's attorney fully understood that this Novo Properties didn't have an LLC in the back, which tells me that this is a DBA, doing business as, which is completely different than an LLC or an entity itself. So they were right. I mean, they are looking for Novo Properties. They just have the wrong Novo Properties. So now my attorney is taking up an action to further prove that this is not us. And sounds like what it sounds like to me is that Novo Properties that they're after is actually a property management company that works for the original owner in Washington, D.C. So now the picture is starting to form. Okay, so the owner in Washington, D.C. hired a local property management firm called the Novo Properties, which at this point it's easy to prove because Daniel and I don't have a licensed property management company. We may manage some of our own property from time to time, but we have our other property management company and a third-party property management company that manages all of our properties, and it's not called Novo Properties. So this one's easy to prove because all they have to do is Google the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, IDFPR, and find out that I am not a licensed property manager, which gives even further clue and further evidence that this is not the Novo Properties that, this is not us, right? This is not our Novo Properties that is managing the property. We thought that was the only lawsuit or the only fake lawsuit that's gonna happen. Well, it turns out that we got another letter to my property manager's office, and this time this was an actual court summonings. Well, I thought, okay, so this is all related. They're all just one big giant case or lawsuit that's all pointed back to us. Well, turns out this is actually a completely different lawsuit that has to do with 1998 or 1999 Ford truck, which A, we never owned a Ford truck, and B, we don't drive in trucks. I mean, when was the last time you see an Asian guy driving trucks? Which is never. So we're like, okay, this is enough. Like, way too many people think that we're doing all these crimes and we're doing all these bad things, and it's not us. This is when I decided, okay, we need to change our company name. We need to change our LLC name. It doesn't affect our brand. It's just, this has gone far enough. So I told our attorney, hey, let's go and change our LLC name. We're gonna file an amendment for our LLC. And that means we have to go change, we gotta go to our bank account and change the name. We gotta go to all these different accounts to change it. But it's still better than not being falsely sued or being demanded for a settlement because they got the wrong company, because there's another company that has a similar name as us. Don't create an LLC name that's similar to another company's name. Make your LLC name super, super unique so that, there's no way that people can mistake your LLC name for another company. At the time of this recording, we're still disputing this matter because we can't come to a conclusion whether this other Novo Properties is us Novo Properties. And we're still defending it, still costing us money. And as far as the Ford truck, apparently there's an accident that happened. It was a hit and run. Novo Properties has nothing to do with this incident. And of course, our attorney had to hire a private investigator to find out the vehicle ID number of this truck to prove that we have never owned it. So this is becoming a silly hodgepodge of mess that shouldn't have happened in the first place. Whether it's a scam or not, I don't know. I don't want to call it a scam because this could be a real situation. These could be real people that may have gotten hurt and may have gone through some traumatic situations. So I don't necessarily want to call it a scam and expose them or anything like that. Even though I didn't have to appear to court, even though I didn't have to pay these settlement costs or fees of $21,000, it's going to cost a lot of money just to even say I didn't do it, which kind of sucks. But that's the world that we live in. So guys, learn from our lessons, learn from what we do. We have dedicated our whole entire YouTube channel to share our mistakes and be vulnerable to share these types of things. I was honestly, when I was suggested the idea that I should share this on YouTube, I'm like, I don't know, it's a little embarrassing. I put myself out there for you guys so that you don't have to deal with this issue. You don't have to deal with this mess that I'm going through. Daniel and I are thinking about countersuing these law firms for costing us all these sort of legal expenses that we shouldn't even have to spend to deal with fake lawsuits. So tell me what you guys think. Should we go after these law firms? Should we go after these attorneys for sending us these frivolous settlement demands and also not doing their proper due diligence to really pick the right target? Should we go after them for our legal expenses? Comment down below. I want to hear what you guys think. Lesson that I've learned is that, again, don't have your LLC name similar to some other company. Do your research. Make sure you pick your name well. So, guys, I hope this never happens to you. I will keep you guys updated as to what happens to this fake lawsuits that is happening to me. This has costed me a lot of time and money that shouldn't have. And I'll keep you guys updated. So stay tuned on the next video.